And we're live. We're back on the podcast with the big captain, Ahmed Hamade.
Hello, hello,
We don't have
hello.
Better today. He had other commitments to make, but
I
he's a
think
bit of a hater.
I don't think the audience are as mad as Better not being here as Sabrina not being here.
Yeah, we don't even have Labrinho, bro. What are we supposed to do with this?
It's gonna be a pretty quiet podcast. That
Yeah,
the
we're
great
just here. No,
Sabrina.
no one knows what they're gonna do anymore, man. We're past. So this is the first podcast we have done now after Ramadan.
Also,
So
after your big 1,500 viewer
1,500 viewer
milestone.
party, bro. Did you hear that 1,500 view party?
Oh,
Oh
wait, hit,
man,
hit the soundboard. Hit the soundboard.
yo, hold on, let's hit something.
Do-
We did it. We did it. Yeah, we had the party, bro. We had Drake there. We had Kanye made an appearance.
I mean, I
Yo,
heard Drake likes to bet. If there's one thing he should be betting on, it's semi-Arab climate.
he's sleeping on, man. People are sleeping on this right now. Speaking of like people like sleeping on things, I was watching. I realize there's people who are just really really good at
At sleeping.
no, not sleeping, like finance.
Oh yeah.
I was watching this guy. He's called Quiver Quant, I think.
Is he just a natural quant, or
Oh, dude.
does he look
I
like a
don't know if
quant?
that's his name or that's the channel or he's the one making the videos or someone copying it. I don't know, but this is the channel I saw. And every day he'd make a video and it'll be something that's so crazy. Yeah, there was a huge announcement from like Samsung where they are
Mhm.
now getting into electric cars. And this is driving up the price of Tesla stock. But really, what you're going to need to be looking at is the guys who mine the cobalt for the batteries. And he buys that. I'm like, what? Fuck it.
I
He
mean, fair
really.
play, fair play.
Well, but I think it works, bro. I think. See, I wouldn't think of that. That's not something I wouldn't. Because I wouldn't get to that outcome.
So does this guy only invest in like commodities, like the
Oh, he
base
invests in everything. He invests in
commodities and
anything that
everything?
goes up in value. I think. Well, I'm assuming he knows what he's doing. I mean, he has a whole
Mm.
channel about it, and people seem to follow it, and the logic seems to pass. Like it doesn't seem anything out of this world.
I mean, I just want to know one thing: does he look like a quant?
I
If
don't
you
know. I
if
haven't seen a picture of him. He just has videos, and
oh,
sometimes you see his
he'll
hands, I think.
oh, all
So
right.
you could assume he was a quant. The next, like, because then he had a thing. What brought me with this whole topic for today was he was talking about airport investments and stuff like that.
Oh, the
So
big
apparently during
airports.
COVID, a lot of people invested into airports.
Like, is in companies investing into airports or people buying airport stock?
People buying airport stock, companies investing in airport
Yeah,
stocks,
airport.
companies buying airline stock.
Yeah, that did happen. Yes.
So people did that. But the real question is, does it has that price bounced back? I mean,
Yeah.
you're in the industry now. Do you see are we back into what we were before COVID?
No. Okay. So, I mean, you're asking two questions there. Are we back in sense of travel volumes? The
Like
answer
how many
is we're
people,
very close.
will we exceed? Were they planning before COVID that we were just going to become the whole country flies every day? Is that what they were ever going to get to?
The whole country flies every day.
Well, there must be countries that have more like Dubai, for example. I would say there's more passengers in the airport than there is people in the country.
No, no, no. Dubai,
What, 10
Dubai's
million, 12 million passengers?
a day.
Oh, no, a year.
No, no, no. They have like 80, 90 million a year.
90 million a year. So you're talking
Yeah.
what, like
So that's
almost
like
10 million a month, 8 million a month?
yeah. So like
So you have almost
300,000
a day.
a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, but your population is like Dubai's population is what, like 3 million, 4 million?
Something like that. Yeah.
So you have 10% of the population flies every single
It's
day.
just in the airport every day.
Yeah, 10% of their whole. Do they count that as population of the country? By the way,
I mean, if they haven't gone through
customs
immigration,
they're not counted.
yeah, they haven't entered the country technically.
What country are you in? If you're in the Dubai zero duty free, what country is that?
I actually don't know. That's a good question. Like, are you in it's international? You've left your country, but you're not technically in your country.
I was also thinking. Let's say you go to the duty free, right?
Yeah.
You fly into the duty
We,
free
we haven't
area.
answered your original question, by the way.
What was the original question? Oh yeah.
Are we back in the recovery? I mean, stock wise, stock prices are, as far as New Zealand's market is, or it's not back to where it used to be, but it did rally a lot since the bottom at COVID. So like obviously you have like the big airline, the big airport. They got really low and then they bounced back pretty quickly, but they haven't really recovered stock price wise. They're still kind of sitting lower than they were in 2019. I couldn't give you numbers. Um, but as far as travel volume, I think right now in New Zealand we're at like 90% of where we were in 2019, which is pretty good. Um, what is interesting though is we don't have peaks and troughs since the border opened.
What does that even mean?
So like we used to have like seasonal traffic. So like summer would be extremely busy, and then like straight after summer you have this trough of like it's like a low season where you get cheap tickets and there's not much traffic at the airport. And then the winter holidays roll around and northern hemisphere have summer, so people start coming to New Zealand. So that you get the summer spike. The winter spike here for us. And then so like the middle of the year and end of the year tend to be busier, but our summer is the busiest season. But since March 2022 when the borders opened,
Yes.
it's just been this gradual build up with no drop. It's just like continuously building up, which means like as much as capacity, as much as there is capacity, there's passengers. The only constraint we have is capacity.
But that's not gonna last forever. That's
No, that
eventually
won't
gonna
last
level out.
forever. So as soon as your capacity surpasses your demand, as soon as your supply surpasses your demand, then you start going into your peaks and troughs, and you kind of go back to the natural cycle that we used to have before.
I think because so there was a few things. I think first of all, people were so excited to be traveling again, to
Yeah.
leave their country. So that was a big
Hmm.
thing. And also, at least what I thought when I was flying around, you don't know when you don't know when you'd be able to get that next flight in.
That's the thing, and that's a lot of
So
people
you're
are just
like,
kind of
oh
like,
shit, do I fly? Do I not fly? Is this going to be open? Is this not going to be open? You don't even know, dude.
hmm,
It was so bad. And the other part was honestly like flying during COVID was the
it
worst
was
thing ever
horrible.
because you
Yeah.
had to fly with the fucking masks, the stupidest thing on earth, dumbass
and,
mask, bro.
and your COVID passport, and then your different application for every country you want to transit or enter.
Oh, no one knew that. The crazy thing is, if you call the airport and you ask them what is the entry requirements
No,
for your
nobody knew.
country,
The rules were changing by the hour. Literally, not even just
literally by the
yeah,
hour.
yeah, like
We were getting there and they were saying things, oh, you need. So remember in New Zealand, they had the COVID tracker and then this
yeah,
other app you had to sign up to. And then they had some
and
lottery to
MIQ,
get
yeah.
MIQ. And then you had to have the booking, but then you didn't need to have the booking. And then you needed to have the booking again. And then they took the booking out.
And then you can
Eh,
quarantine at home, but only if you get a booking.
yeah. So you could quarantine at home if you had a booking. And there was special requests. And also there was like a lottery to where you could quarantine. It was a surprise.
Oh yeah, it
To
was
make it
miserable.
fair for everybody. I don't
It
know
was
what's
miserable.
fair. Yeah, oh, Hamilton, sorry, cuz. You know when you come into the country and you take a right down to the south of the border, bro, you know. You know you're in for a bad time. You're going
Well,
down to Hamiltonia.
at least you're in New Zealand, not in the United States.
Yeah, well, I don't think I think they were really serious on about COVID for what, how long?
I think it
1
depends on
year?
which state you were in over there. Like the states that seem to got that like New York got hit really bad and they got really serious about it. And then like Florida and states in the South just did not care. They're like, yeah,
I never understood like I'll tell you what, like we when COVID first hit, we were going to the mall, not the mall, we were going to the supermarket just to see people. Buy our groceries and just see humans. Like, wow,
yeah. I remember that. You go
it
to the
was so
grocery
cool.
store, you're just like, man, I just want to like interact with other people.
I mean, you were in the airport. You could at least see other people in the
It
airport every
was
day.
it was sad, man. Like I would like for us at work, it was there's no one there, bro. Like it was just dead.
They did like did they do any salary shaving? They tell you like work 1 day less or 2 days
Yeah,
less. I
we
remember
had
they had
that.
some.
We had
How long
20%.
was that for?
for 6 months. We had a 20% pay cut for 6 months,
20%
and
pay
obviously
cut.
our cut. But they fired so many people that we just ended up doing the same amount of work for 20% less money.
Yeah, but it was, and that's what these companies do, by the way. They'll tell you, oh, 20% salary cut, and everyone's getting fired. But by the way, if you want to work exactly to those hours,
You're
like,
probably going to be going to.
yeah, it might be a bit of extra redundancy there. So
Yeah.
whoever wants the job can keep it.
But the thing is, it was like we're in such a constant state of like emergency in everything we did that nobody really thought about the hours you're working. You're just kind of solving problems constantly.
Well, it just shows that whole thing, man. It just showed how something like that we were just so unprepared for it.
Yeah.
We couldn't, and honestly, even if it happens again, I don't think we're gonna I don't think we're gonna do it any better than we did it the first time. Honestly,
I think we do slightly better, but I think the supply chains would just probably be as screwed as they were the first time. I don't
why
think there'd be like any
well, why did the
resilience.
supply chains get whacked? That's the question. Why did they get whacked? It just seemed so. I was talking to a couple of pilots and stuff, and they were telling me, yeah, well, uh, we were flying our planes. We were all flying the same, but we were going. I was like, "Oh, you were getting vaccines?" Like, we literally never went and get vaccines. We're getting Nintendo Switches. We're getting PlayStations. We're getting stuff for people. We want to make
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. I
No,
think, but the thing is like in countries that are isolated, like New Zealand, like air freight is such a big deal for us. And then like when all of a sudden you have like 10%, not even 10%, we had like 2 flights a day coming to our biggest airport. So it's like you're gone down to like 1% of your flights or something. So all that cargo capacity that you had is now gone
but why were they not just flying the planes for cargo?
because it just wasn't feasible. Like the you remember how expensive air cargo got during COVID? Like it got
Yeah, all
super
cargo got super
expensive. Yeah,
expensive. I
because
don't know. That's another thing no one really ever explained. Everyone had these theories, but it was a thing no one explained. Why was cargo so damn expensive?
there's
Why
so
was
much demand on it. Like the
Yeah,
supply,
but
it's
why
just
was there
like
more
everything else.
demand? Why was there more
Well,
demand?
because
People consume the same
all the
amount,
air
right?
cargo stopped. All so you do realize when you have a passenger plane, in the belly of the plane they put cargo, and that's
Yeah.
how they move cargo for cheap because they just fill up whatever. That's why they're so strict about how much weight you carry because they want to fill up that cargo with extra stuff and make more money. So when all those planes are not in the sky anymore, you've got to fly just cargo planes, or you fly those planes empty and charge people more, which is
Yeah.
not cost efficient because you're not sure you're going to bring stuff back in them. So they could fly in one direction and come back completely empty, making no money.
I honestly think if there's like another COVID outbreak again, COVID, like COVID
COVID
Pro Max or whatever
25.
it is. Yeah, I don't know, whatever they call it. I honestly think they're not going to close borders again. I don't see that happening. Like they tried it and they realized there was just absolutely no difference.
Yeah. I always wonder if they actually close borders immediately. Like, you know how like there was a point in time, I think it was like February 2020, just before all the borders started closing, where there was talk about this virus, and people were like getting nervous. They were like, why are we even in New Zealand? I remember people were like, why are we still getting flights from China? There's all this outbreak in China. Why are we still getting flights from China? And every country in the world was really nervous to say anything about China at the time.
Oh yeah, I,
And
I was actually in New Zealand when I first heard about COVID. I was like, "Whoa, that's kind of." And they're like, "We're doing our." As soon as the government tells you, we've got it contained. I was like, "Oh no!"
yeah,
If they don't say anything, it's fine. When someone tells you it's fine, that's when you start worrying.
yeah, like, okay, that's definitely not fine.
Yeah, oh god, when especially New Zealand, man. New Zealand's having way too much fun not having COVID. And then, they kind of did floor the whole economy there, but no dramas. No, everyone's over that. They just floored the whole economy. Yeah, but we don't have COVID though. Like, yeah, we don't also have food or anything, but we don't have COVID. And the best part is they literally got COVID straight afterwards. Oh,
Yeah,
we're just waiting for.
and we didn't have the vaccines. That was the word.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know. I don't know. This whole, even with all this whole vaccine business and everyone talking about vaccines. we're gonna start getting all the results now. Everyone's gonna start saying what it actually. I honestly I don't care. Like it doesn't bother me in the slightest. You know,
Yeah, at this point, we've already taken it.
yeah, you've taken. It's not. It's not. That I'm gonna sit there. Yeah, you know, there's a whole bunch of people. Yeah, but I told you so. Like, okay, if someone told me, you know, I'd get some side effects from COVID, but I could go out for at least one more year, yeah, I would have stayed. I would have taken it and taken the side effects and still gone out for one more year. You know,
Yeah,
did something. You know, instead of
that's the
sat at
thing.
home and like, you know, start like practicing domestic violence or something like that. That seems to be what, what most people in New Zealand did. Just domestic violence.
It's just
Apparently the
goes.
police were having a hard time as well, bro. There was a lot of fighting.
There's a lot of issues. Yeah,
There's
like
a lot of fist fights, bro.
man, like I mean, you can only imagine, right? Like you had all the. I'm pretty sure all the liquor stores are still open. That's probably all they had was liquor and groceries,
Yeah.
and like
I
people
don't
couldn't go anywhere. So it's like
I actually kind of miss some of those days of COVID though. I really do miss them. You know,
there
when you
were
had to
some
be at
good
home.
days.
Yeah, you had to be at home. But people packed on pounds and COVID. People got fat. A lot of people got fat.
I put on a bit
A
of
lot
weight.
of
I put on a bit of weight. I put
Did
a
you
bit of
reckon you
COVID
put
weight.
on a lot, like 10 kilo, you reckon? 10 keys?
Uh, probably not 10 kilo, but I put on maybe like 5 or 6. I got a little bit chunky because
Did you feel
all I was doing was cooking. Like I, I was cooking every single day, and I was cooking good food, bro.
like you're going for those hearty meals, eh?
Yeah, I was going like hearty, like they were
Eh,
delicious meals. Because like, dude, like if you wanted to eat good, you got to go out get the groceries. Because there's no takeaways were open. There's nothing. You want
What
to eat a,
again? Why did they close takeaways in New Zealand? Like, what was the reason behind that?
just to slow the spread or stop the spread.
It's like I don't know, bro. There's something about New Zealand I always find is that we always try to reinvent the wheel on things that are tried and true.
I mean, there was nothing tried and true at that point in time, to be
Well,
honest.
like,
Every
well, to be
country was
fair,
kind of
every
winging
other
it.
country had COVID. New Zealand thought they would never get COVID, which was, you know, like they had COVID in Luxembourg, bro. Settle down, all right? Like they had COVID there. There were like 10,000 people there.
I think New Zealand's perception at the time was like, we're like, we're gonna not have COVID. We're gonna keep the country closed. Then everyone's gonna get vaccinated, and then no one's gonna worry about it. But that's not how it worked.
Yeah, it didn't. I don't know. Did they come out with any studies afterwards about like vaccine efficacy and was it did it actually stop people dying and the masks? Like they should just come out and just say that. I know, honestly, even if it was bad, I would have still worn the mask. It seemed to help, you know. At
I
least
think the mask helps. Like, surely it does, right? And it just makes
I
sense.
and not for the airborne. First of all, if you said you can't breathe in a mask, all it was only like really, you know, real chunky people who are real worried about not being able to breathe in a mask. It doesn't say, you could breathe. I'm sorry, are nurses dying? Were just nurses dying in droves? They had to hold their breath for 8 to 9 hours a day plus
Just
overtime. I don't know.
asphyxiation, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was very inconvenient. But people in New Zealand were complaining about masks, and it's like it's 18 degrees. It's 18 degrees. So, you know,
Yeah,
there should be
it
nothing.
wasn't like I think the masks weren't even the worst of it. To be honest, like even when we would go to work, like I don't know about you, you probably had like to by law wear your mask, but like we'd go to work and the whole country's in lockdown, and like you'd be spending time with the same people every day to the point where you're just like, do we really need to wear a mask? I see you every single day. Do I need to wear a mask around you? Like you're pretty much part of my family at this point.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I don't think yeah, I can if you're seeing the person every day, they were talking about these bubbles and everyone
Yeah,
became a virologist overnight. I don't know, like
no,
they're handing those degrees out. And then well, honestly, if I was to give any, you know, feedback, if you know on the CAP form, if I was to fill up a CAP form for COVID,
yeah.
I'd just say just give one time clear information. You want to wear masks? Wear masks. Tell everyone wear
Dude,
masks.
genuinely, nobody knew what was going on. Like
How?
this,
People have their
this is how it
jobs.
worked. This is how it worked for us, right? We were responsible for the border. All right, like our responsibility was to protect the border, make sure that no virus gets through the border. Like, all right, cool, we can do that. We just need guidance from the Ministry of Health on what's acceptable and unacceptable. We call them, hey guys, can you guys tell us if we can do this? Oh, we actually don't know about that. We're gonna need to get back to you on that one. We call them again. Hey, have you guys got any feedback on that? We actually don't. We don't know about that. You're gonna have to give us more time.
I
It's
think
like no matter what, like how do we what's our cleaning procedure supposed to be? Is this acceptable? Yeah, that sounds about right. You guys should go and do that.
yeah, but it doesn't make sense. First of all, people were really worried about disinfection. That was a big thing, right?
Yeah, it
There's
was.
a big thing about disinfecting things. So first of all, people were saying. So I remember when COVID first started, I actually was selling. Disinfection
Yeah.
for companies where we'd go
Hmm.
spray the building with special chemicals. So first of all, it's a virus. So it's any chemical that has anything in it basically will kill this virus. I don't think we were buying stuff that's like this specifically targets the COVID-19. It
Yeah,
does nothing.
there was like buzzwords being thrown around of like
It
what
was
is
just
acceptable,
marketing
and
words,
then like
bro.
people would
Everything
hear it
kills
and
it.
just believe it.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's ridiculous. Like I think everything it all gets killed. There's nothing special about is it whatever it is? Does it kill COVID-19? I think everything kills it. But I reckon a lot of people lost their jobs not because of COVID, like directly because they lost their job, but the people who were in control, who were meant to be like the emergency management for deadly disease outbreaks and stuff like that. I reckon they had their jobs as like a 20-year cruise. It was easy job. They did nothing. No, but really, they had a 20-year job. They did nothing in it. It was such an easy job. And oh, have you guys made any emergency plans? Yeah, we've done tons of emergency plans. We've
Yeah,
got
well, she'll
huge
be right, bro.
scenarios. We've
She'll be
done tons
right.
of yeah, she. And then when it actually got to the outbreak, they're like, "What about this scenario? Oh, we don't have information about that. What do you mean you don't? You guys have been getting paid day in day out of this. Oh, there's no way we could have known. Well, I don't know. It seemed
Surely there was a point in time someone thought, what about a global pandemic?
the
Given
people get
that
paid for that.
Bill Gates did a whole TED talk about it like 8 years ago.
Yeah, people
Oh,
people take that TED talk, bro.
we're not gonna get into that one. No.
Yeah, people talk about that TED talk, bro. They're like, yeah, he fucking Bill Gates. He knew.
And then Fauci knew what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, if you want, like, if anyone wants to have a takeaway from this is invent Microsoft, then you'll know. Okay, but like, you didn't invent Microsoft. Then shut the fuck up and wait, bro. The advanced information comes with the description of making a $1 trillion company. You don't have a $1 trillion company? Don't talk about it, bro. Don't worry about it. No one's gonna
Oh
tell you
man.
about it.
Yeah. But that's the
I don't
thing
know,
though,
man.
like surely they knew there was gonna be a pandemic. And clearly they were just like caught with their pants down. It was like, oh shit, like what are we actually supposed to do here?
Yeah, well, they 100% got caught with their pants down. 100% got caught with their pants down. And then the best part was like they were caught with their pants down for about a year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, and then there was like all that shuffling around like in the Khalij where like it's like, oh, the Chinese vaccine. Oh no, the Chinese vaccine doesn't work. Let's probably try the Pfizer vaccine. Oh, the Pfizer vaccine is all good, but now you need
Oh,
3 doses.
Moderna? Yeah, that gives you heart problems, brother. Yeah, that gives you heart problems. Yeah, you need the Russian Sputnik, mate. Oh wait, no, the Sputnik's not as good. It's not as
Bro,
it has low.
I know people that have had like the tasting platter of vaccines, bro. Like literally, have had them all.
Still get COVID, bro.
Still got COVID. Yep, still got.
Bro, I'll tell you straight up though, the worst cold I have ever gotten, I got it like I think 4 or 5 months ago. It wasn't COVID.
Did you test for COVID?
No, I did test it. I didn't have
Okay.
COVID. It was the worst cold I have ever had in my entire life. It was so bad. So I got COVID and I was, it was bad. It was like, no, it was actually not bad at all. Like, the first day I had shivers and then I was fine after that. This one, it was 3 days of, I literally slept on that like chair there. I just
Yeah.
sat there. I couldn't, every time I stood up, I was like just collapsing. I was just like, oh man,
Jeez.
I couldn't walk. I couldn't think. I ate nothing but Lebanon for 2 days. I couldn't stomach anything. I was just
Man,
so out of it.
that's pretty horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. So stuff
There
like
was
that
like
happens.
I think this last season of flu was especially bad for some reason.
Do you take this flu vaccine?
No, I've only taken it once, and it was at the start of COVID.
And I'm recording, by the way.
Tell her that you're on camera.
Yeah, I did.
Uh,
Well, see, look now. So this is okay. Well, this is my next question here. So we're moving forward. So let's say we're back to
to investing.
my child. This is my child.
Sorry, he wants to be in the podcast. I think
Well,
so. It's about
yeah,
time. He's
well,
old enough.
he needs to learn. Now, my thought now is moving forward now.
You were saying we used to hear every year of an airport extension.
Yeah, so like we're talking about airport extensions. Every year there was like another airport being extended, and this is going to be the new biggest. Now, I think we're at a point now where I don't think anyone's trying to build a bigger airport.
Mm,
Well, we're not trying to push the limit of how big an airport can be.
I think we are. Like
Like, because
literally just in the last, I'd say in the last 4 or 5 months, Riyadh announced a the biggest airport in the world.
but what's I'm not understanding. What is the purpose of going and being? But because it starts becoming well, within the airport you have to walk.
Yeah, but it's not it's like it's you're not building the biggest terminal building in the world. They're building the biggest airport operation in the world. So they're
No,
building.
I'm talking about the terminal building. Let's just start with
Yeah,
terminal
but
building.
like no,
Is there a
nobody's trying
point
to
to build
build.
bigger?
Yeah, I mean, you can have like you look at Doha, right? Massive terminal building. They have a train inside. Solves the problem.
Yeah, but does it solve the problem? Like
Dubai does the
it's
same
really good.
thing.
Yeah, but
It's excellent. I think that for me when I visited Doha Airport, I thought it was the best large airport to navigate.
yeah, it's
Like
very
it's so
clear. Honestly,
comfortable. It's so
it's so clear.
comfortable. Yeah, it's so clear.
I have never been lost in Doha Airport. Once you like, if you walk in a direction and you know what Concord you're going to go to A, B, C, D,
Yeah,
you know how to get where you're going. You just have to walk in a straight line.
that's it.
And for such a big building, by the way, that is genius. If you
Mhm.
walk in a straight line, you will get to where you need to get to.
That's it. Or you get on the train and it shoots you across where you need to be. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Um, but like yeah, like so now they have means of like horizontal transport. So like you don't need some form of people movers. So it's okay to go really big. Like Singapore is building Terminal 5, which will be as big as Terminals 1 through 4 combined in a single terminal.
No, okay, that's enormous, bro.
That's enormous. It's doubling their capacity to like I don't know, like 100 something million passengers a year. Um, Obviously Istanbul already the biggest airport in the world, but
You see,
isn't the
Istanbul Airport
busiest.
is way too big.
I've never
It's
been.
just
Yeah, I've never
the
been.
new airport.
I haven't seen that yet.
So
I've
it's a
only been
really
to the
not
one.
like it's a new airport. It's quite nice. It's just so there's a few issues there. First of all, distance from civilization is like
Yeah,
Istanbul
it's
is
I heard
already a
it's built
city where it's
really far
so
away.
far. No, no, it's like it's restrictively so.
So how long does
It's
it take you to get to like the city center?
from so depends. So like you're talking like Sultan Ahmed, for example,
Yeah,
like the
like
main tourist
that's
area.
like deep city center. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
like
so you're talking hour and a half, maybe
oh what in car or train?
car.
Damn,
Train will take longer.
damn.
It's really, really, really far. It's so far.
They need like high speed train or something to like get people in the city faster.
So see now, so that's like the whole other thing though. The whole issue now is how quickly can you horizontally move people to where they need to go and high
Yeah,
enough capacity? Because also the point is like you can if you have a very very fast train, it's pointless. Like because if you only have one of them or every so often you only have a few of them, it's not that
yeah.
great.
Hmm.
Speaking of horizontal movement, apparently, uh, the longest maglev train on Earth is run in China. It runs at a huge loss, and it's only like 30 kilometers long or something like that.
Is that it? 30 kilometers.
Yeah, it's something really short. Hold on, I'm gonna do a quick Google.
So what? Like it does like a 20-minute journey or a 10-minute journey.
It's nothing. Yeah, it's. I don't know why it's not like Japan had them. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's not something that is.
They're extremely expensive to build. Like you don't make a profit
Yeah,
on them.
yeah, they don't make any profit on them. So apparently, Japan has one that goes like 603 kilometers an hour.
Oh, is that the
Um,
Osaka to Tokyo one?
and I know I think it's just in the trial area. I don't think it's
Ah,
like
okay.
don't think it's existing. Maglev test link Shanghai to Hangzhou. Is that the one or Shanghai to Beijing? No. But see, the thing is like here. New line Shanghai to Beijing is 1,300 kilometers and it'll cost $16 billion.
That's worth it. That's 100% worth it.
I think honestly nowadays we're gonna start. Like I was always telling my family about this. We're living in a time now where we're gonna start seeing projects that were thought not possible be done.
Yeah, but that's always been the case, right?
No,
What do you mean no?
not
Like,
always. No, it wasn't always like think like so. Here's like a crazy thought. I heard this on like another podcast. It was Joe Rogan and what's that? Neil deGrasse Tyson.
hmm
So just to like scale the thing, the tallest building in the world, the tallest structure on Earth for a long time was the
pyramids.
pyramids.
hmm
That was only exceeded in the 1800s by Eiffel Tower.
Yeah,
So what? They spent 7,000. No one could figure shit out for 7,000 years. No one could stack fucking blocks higher than that. Are you serious? Honestly, I was actually thinking of this. If I time traveled back in time, bro, I would have given a population like Wi-Fi at the minimum, bro. I would have sussed them out, bro. Honestly, it's ridiculous. How could they not figure this out? Stack some fucking block. They
yeah, but
literally
did
built
they
it
care?
5,000 years ago before you. Figure
Why would
something
they
out.
care though? Like the pyramids themselves weren't very they weren't very utilitarian. They were just like these monuments.
Yeah, but we've okay, but they thought 7,000 years ago was important enough to build. Now, why at no point in history for 7,000 years, no one sat there and thought, you know what? Yeah, like Genghis Khan, bro, he could
But
have figured that out.
nobody thought, you know what, we need to make people live in higher buildings. And
Well, no,
it's not just about building higher. Like, okay, you're gonna build higher than the pyramids. Pyramids are high structures, bro. Like, I mean, you've been there, you know,
yeah, well, it's
they're
not, but it's
very
not,
high.
it's not, it's not, it's what 100
Let
meters, 200, 120
let's say you
meters.
make a physical building that's that high, and you're like, okay, now the guy at the top has to take the stairs up and down every day because we don't have elevators.
Yeah, 17. What was it? 1719. They're invented.
So like it's as technology develops, it enables other things to be done. Like it was illogical to build that high.
It was, but it would have been awesome at the same time as well, bro. It would have been freaking cool. Like there must have been every time I read something about the pyramids, every time I look into the pyramids, it's just more and more of my brain goes like, there's something off about these, bro. Something's not right.
There's something 100% something
Every
really
time you look at
strange
like the
about
guy
them.
was talking, I saw a thing about a guy talking about the granite in the tombs, bro. And he's like, oh, they're perfect right angles of a single piece, craft from like one piece with no electronic tools. I'm like, dude, there's
Just water
something.
blasters, bro. They're water blasters.
Yeah, pressure, bro. Water cutter, bro. Got the water jets on there. He like, yeah. I don't know. The more the more I hear about it, the more I like. I realize like, yeah, there's something off. Where something we're not being
It's way
told.
too advanced. It is way too advanced for something that old.
I mean, and here's like, is there ever going to be a point you see? This is not really related to pyramids, but related to you. Do you ever see a point where you're in an airport now? However, it's
Yeah,
going to have like a mega hub of every transportation just joining at one place.
they're trying to do that. Like Jeddah Airport, for example. They have the high speed rail that goes to so it goes Medina Mecca through Jeddah, but it stops at Jeddah Airport. So Jeddah Airport is now going through this whole upgrade program where they're trying to make their airport enormous, and they also have a high speed rail going straight through them. And they also, I don't know if they're going to do it, but they're talking about metro as well. So like they have two types of train airports, and then like I'm sure they have like an actual port close by as well in Jeddah. But I think that would be an example of it. But I'm sure there's other places. Like you just have these massive transport stations.
I mean, do you ever get worried that like shit, I'm not going to have a job if when they make enough trains? Like there has to be a point where
Oh,
they're not going to
when
do.
trains outpace planes.
Yeah. It's possible. 600 kilometers an hour is getting there.
Nah. Because you got supersonic flight coming.
Yeah, but
Like flight hasn't gone any faster since like the dawn of the
Well,
jet
because
age.
it's not no, I don't think they ever wanted anything faster because it was not logical. Because the faster you go, as soon as you start breaking the sound barrier and stuff like that, you start breaking people's windows and shit, and
Yeah,
it's
but you
like
can
really
fly over
loud and
water.
restrictive. If you fly over water, yeah, but it's like a lot of routes. Like for example, the most popular route on Earth, which is like London to New York, you can't do it on
Is
subsonic. Or maybe if you like leave the atmosphere, you probably could.
I mean, London to New York is.
Sorry, not London to New York. Sorry, New York to Los Angeles. I said the wrong L word.
Oh yeah,
I think
New York to LA, but like that's fine. But you can
I
do
think that is the most popular flight route on Earth, by the way.
London to New York.
No, New York to Los Angeles.
Is it?
I think so.
Just go the other way around. That's all right.
Which way? Oh, you go
Over
around the
over
world.
water.
If you even then, I don't think you're purely over water.
Now you wouldn't be, but you can have so many destinations. I mean, there's look at Boom Supersonic, which is this new company that's aiming to start commercial flight by 2030, and they want to do it at a business class ticket price.
Yeah, which is so it's gonna be like what 40 grand at that point. Oh, because
No,
apparently, oh, by the way, Ahmed, I just want to let you know, bro. Like, the whole world business class used to be like 7 grand or 4 grand or
it used
three
to be
grand,
like
whatever it was.
$5 grand, dude. Like a few couple of
And then
years
it's
ago.
like, oh, yeah, everyone can afford 5 grand.
Yeah,
Fuck all you.
now it's ridiculous. It's
10
absolutely.
grand. And people, well, they don't care, but people are still buying it. I don't know
Well, people are
why.
buying it, but it's the same thing, supply and demand. There's just not enough supply of any aircraft seats right now.
The worst thing on earth for me, bro, is premium economy. Worst thing on
Oh, it's a
earth.
ripoff. It's a complete ripoff.
It's ridiculous. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, but what's cool about this company, Boom, is that they're actually, first of all, horrible name for a aircraft company, by the way.
Literally, Ahmed, I was
The
gonna
worst
say,
name.
though, like, could they not think of anything? Like, for people who are worried about flying, bro, this ain't it.
But like what they're doing is genuinely like groundbreaking. Like they are.
Mach Mach 1.7. That's
Yeah, so like you're flying at 2 times the speed of traditional flight. And that's the thing, like you can buy a traditional ticket or you can be like, oh, I can fly from China to Sydney for in half the time. I can go from Auckland to Sydney in an hour and a half faster than I can go from Auckland to Dunedin.
so like this was like what was that called? Concorde?
Concorde, yeah.
So they were the
But
same thing.
Concorde was ahead of its time. That was the issue. Like I think now the time is right. You've got
Uh,
the market volume is so big in aviation. It's like a
what,
multi-trillion-dollar industry.
why don't they just make Concorde again?
I mean, Concorde's like a 60-year-old technology. It's like 50-year-old technology. Like
What's the
it's
difference? It's subsonic. It still went just as fast.
yeah, but at the time it was extremely expensive to run, and like obviously the aircraft components were, I guess as probably with the lack of a better word, quite primitive compared to now.
Well,
So
like
now they
they
can make
had,
a
I
lot
remember they had like this
lighter,
issue with
better.
heating, bro. Like apparently when they started breaking they're like
They're
having
so
always having some.
overheating.
Well, no, it was just like they were just cutting through the air so quickly that it was just heating up the shell of the aircraft.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but um, the funny thing is that when they talk about this new supersonic flight, they're like, there's literally one design you can go with, and it's the same design as a Concorde, like the shape.
Yeah, that long stretch
It's
shape.
just a long, like that's the only like efficient shape that you can actually do.
It is a
But
very cool shape.
it
My
is a cool shape.
my grandma flew Concorde before.
Damn, that's
She
sick. That's
she
sick.
told me it was like it's really fast. It's like really fast. And it's like the comfort wise it was kind of iffy. Um yeah, it was like kind of iffy. And her ears said she told me like her ears were just popping like crazy. Figure out what side those headphones need to come on.
Side the headphone, and you're worried about supersonic flight, Jude. You need just to worry about your headphones.
Yeah, bro. Bro, I just feel like imagine if you own a company that does supersonic flight, bro. I just reckon it just looks like it's really easy to make a website and have like a bunch of statistics on the website there, routes, and it's gonna be 4 hours faster and 10 hours faster,
Yeah,
and this is better. dude, I just feel like,
Now it's been a really difficult project for them. Like even like initially they had Rolls Royce do a whole engine research, like a whole piece of work for them. Obviously they paid for it, and then Rolls Royce pulled out. They're like, yeah, well, this is not a feasible project for us. That's like,
dude,
oh
it doesn't seem, you know, Concorde and supersonic flight. It just looks like one of those things that's like a money pit.
yeah,
Like, you know, it's one of those things like, how much we need to spend? What's the budget? Like, how long's a piece of string, bro? Like, you know,
it is. It's one of those problems. They just keep going.
like
But
you could spend like fucking $5 billion on developing this, and it'll be like, oh, we probably still need some more. Like, we could do some more.
it's kind of like when what's that fighter jet that just became like the trillion
The,
dollar
the
problem?
2 trillion, bro. F
Two
thirty
trillion
five
F-35
spent two
Gs.
trillion on a plane. They're selling it, and it's out there, and it's like, well, the crazy thing is, right? So what they learned from this whole Ukraine conflict.
Is that the older planes are better?
Well, no, planes were not even like an issue. They made all these planes for dogfighting and stuff, but they found out. Well, this is like at least what I read and what I watched on these videos. So I could be wrong. I'm not a military expert. Just before this, you know. Uh,
The comment section starts to go off.
yeah, you know, is that you have people. So the planes that are being made, right?
Hmm.
You know, say you're spending a couple of billion on a plane, or 400 million, 500 million on a single plane. There's nothing that can stop a really, really good like anti-aircraft missile, which costs, you know, not even 0.001% of that
Yeah,
cost. So it's like, what there? So, you know, how do you beat that? You know, okay, we'll shoot 20 rockets at you. You're like, if something's gonna hit, bro, something will connect.
yeah.
Like, oh, I can lose one guy, but something will eventually hit you. That's just the world. So they learned like this, all the stuff from this whole conflict. They're like, shit, maybe we don't need to have. Oh, their big issue, we don't have ammo. Like, ammunition is like such a big issue for
Yeah,
them. Yeah, they don't
such a
like.
basic thing.
Yeah, which is like you don't even think about that, but they're
Mhm,
all like, everyone's like the F-35 is gonna, like, you know, fuck it. And realistically, it was meant to like be this whole propaganda thing to scare people. At the end of the day,
mhm.
bro, like, if you die from an F-16 or an F-35, bro, they both kill you. No one gives a shit, bro.
This
They
makes
both
no
drop things that
difference.
go boom. Yeah,
The
which is like that's the whole thing, bro. So I don't know, like,
what I've always found interesting is the amount of money they put into developing this like military technology, only to fight like farmers and like mountain like warriors that like literally just using like old school AK-47s and homemade explosives.
100%. Oh, bro, like when you say about all this money, right? The I was reading this Reddit thread about this guy who
Mhm.
was in the Navy, in the U.S. Navy, and he was talking, and he was like, "Yeah, listen, okay, it sounds like, you know, it sounds like we really fucking and we know how to fight. We're really good at. We're the best in the
Yeah,
world at this. Like, no one's better at us than this. I agree, 100%. You're the best in the
probably
world
the
at this.
best, probably the best in history. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
never been
Like,
anything like the U.S. military.
yeah, there's never. But he's like, don't think that we're like so invulnerable with everything we do. He's like, all this budget we have, right? Is there's so much of it that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, so they make these contracts, right? For example, he was talking about one contract he had with this one
Hmm.
company where they were required, so their contract, they had to buy all of like they're selling this like weaponry and stuff, but
Yeah.
they had some part of their contract. I don't know if this is like accurate, and it was just some guy on Reddit talking, by the way. But he was saying we have how do I say it? All our stationary, or, you know, field stationary requirements and all this in this country
Hmm.
must be purchased from this one company, and they were charging them $250 for like
Oh
a
wow.
4 pack of pens.
Of course, that's what happens.
And he's like, yeah, well, you know, for a $250 pen, you need to buy a pen for like every team in your like aircraft carrier, for example. You know, you're putting like 200 grand in just for pens.
Just pens and
I
notebooks
was
and
like, this
shit.
shit like that. Like, I'm sure, you know, people like, you cannot tell me that 1.9 trillion was just money it cost to develop that plane.
It was really efficient spending, Drew. They were
Uh,
counting every dollar.
Oh, bro, like they like I don't. There's a lot of stuff that happens, bro, and the military spending where they just don't even audit it. They're like, oh no, no, we're not checking that, mate. There's no chance we can audit this. Like, what are you gonna find out? We sorry. Oh, whoops, we spent like $900 billion extra when we shouldn't have. Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah.
You know what I reckon happened with like those like F-35, like the F-35 project is there would have been like so many like small scale problems that they would have created like whole projects around with consulting firms to solve, and the bill for that would have just been like
As
monstrous.
soon as you said that word, bro, that
The
those
C
buzzwords,
word,
as soon as you said consulting firms, you just know, bro, you're
and
paying
like,
for a non-solution.
and then the consulting firm goes and hires a management consulting firm,
Oh
and
yeah,
they're
oh
like,
yeah.
you're gonna pay them even more.
So like, so you know, you're developing. Oh, we're having trouble with our radar, our radar system. So they pay some consulting firm who brings in a management consultant who's gonna get some graduate. But don't worry, bro. He went to an Ivy League. He's a
He went
graduate,
to
but he's
he
an Ivy League graduate.
he
He's gonna brainstorm this out for you. No, he's
he
got this
took
for you.
he took one class in electrical engineering. He knows what he's talking about.
And I'm sorry, did you if you've been doing this radar technology for 25 years, mate? Not mate. Listen, 22-year-old Stu over there. He's got this. He knows something you don't. All right, it's not like
Let him pull up his slide deck. He'll see what he can do.
fucking slide. Bro, if Tanza makes a slide deck for me, bro, I'd honestly, I couldn't watch it.
Oh
As soon as
man.
someone whips out the presentations, bro, you just know it's all going downhill from there. You know that day is taking a turn for the worse.
The biggest question is always like, how much time have you spent making that one presentation? Like, how,
How much you charging me for this presentation, bro? None of those are free. There's no freebies on these presentations, dude.
there's nothing for free.
They're all paid for, bro. All cash money, and it's from your
Jeez,
pocket.
good old.
We need to bring. Do you know any consultants who wants to be on this podcast, Ahmed? I need to ask him. I have so many questions just to really run down his whole profession.
Like a management consultant.
Yeah, I really want to talk to one.
I have to think about that one.
Like, just tell him It's like I have questions from someone who's extremely skeptical.
I don't think there's anyone that's not in their industry that isn't skeptical of them.
Yeah, I don't think they believe what they offer.
Oh,
I
they
I
definitely
don't
don't.
think I
They
don't think
definitely
they
don't.
believe it.
They know they're running a scam.
It's like a card table, bro. Honestly, it's just legal and they have a nice name and they wear suits, but it's the same thing,
I'm
man.
sure even their clients know they're not getting anything for what they're paying for, but
That they know they're not getting the money's worth, bro. They know they're not getting
they're
it.
like, but we're already committed. That's it's too late.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a means of spending, bro. You gotta reach those budgets, and at the end of the day, you're a freak. Anyway,
Oh
brother, I
man,
think we are gonna wrap up there because I don't want to leave you on too late. You gotta go to bed.
yeah,
1:55 for
brother.
Big Ahmed. This
There we
is the
go.
latest
This
ever been on.
this is late.
This is late for Big Ahmed. Is
This
everyone
is
else
like back when
asleep?
we used to play Dota. I think everyone went to sleep.
Ah, damn, you're a freak. All right, brother. We'll
All
catch you
right,
on the
bro.
next one. Thank you for being here.
No worries. See ya.